What is going on, GBA universe? My name is Brandon and welcome back to week number 10 of the Waiver Wire show, a show where we take a Pokemon that was not drafted in the GBA format and let's find out what we can do with it. So last week I gave you guys the straw poll, had Murkrow, Ursaring, Vileplume, Probopass, Yanmega, and Electrode on it, and Yanmega took the vote. Murkrow came in with 49 votes, Ursaring with 86, 64 for Vileplume, 22 votes for Probopass, 48 for Electrode, and Yanmega won with 106 votes, so Ursaring made it close, but not close enough. So we're gonna cover Yanmega today. So why not, let's look at its stats, shall we? Now looking at Yanmega's stats, 86 in HP, 76 in attack, 86 in defense, 116 in special attack, 56 in special defense, and 95 in speed. So you can see that with these kind of stats, Yanmega does two things well. It moves fast and it hits hard on the special side. Now, why should Yanmega have been drafted? Well, like I said, boasting that 116 special attack stat is never a bad thing. It's got good speed at 95. It's got access to speed boost, which basically brings up your speed one stage each turn you take. So all you do is throw protect or detect on it and you get a free speed boost, basically. It's got some unique moves like with that we can try to put to use, and it's a tier 4, so it would be relatively cheap for what it's capable of doing if you use it correctly. Now, why would Yanmega not be that good in the league format? Well, its defense stats at 86 physical defense and 56 special defense kind of leaves something to be desired, and Yanmega basically causes you to bring Defog or Rapid Spin on something because if it eats any rocks, it's losing half its health right off the bat. Now, Yanmega does have access to kind of cool moves like Ancient Power and Silver Wind, which have the possibility of boosting all your stats by one stage. Unfortunately, with 10% of the time it being the chance, and Yanmega being as frail as it is, you're never really going to have the time to try and get those boosts, so we're not really going to put those on any of our sets for Yanmega today. But speaking of sets, let's go to Pokemon Showdown, check out our Yanmega sets. Now, you're going to notice a theme while we do these sets that basically the only places you're really investing in with Yanmega are special attack and speed. It's just the only thing you can really do with the Yanmega. So the first one we have here is a Life Orb Speed Boost set with Bug Buzz, Giga Drain, Air Slash, and Detect. I will explain the Detect in a second, with 4 in defense just because I needed 4 somewhere, and I didn't want to put it in HP because I wanted an odd HP value so we can live 2 Stealth Rock entrances without taking any other damage. So 4 in defense, 252 in special attack, and 252 in speed, made it a modest nature. So now, why I put Detect instead of Protect? Well, there are a couple Pokemon, most of them are Psychic Pokemon, that pack the move Imprison. Imprison, what that's going to do is if that Pokemon is holding Protect, and they use Imprison on your Yanmega, you will no longer be able to use Protect if they're holding it as well. It's a really confusing move. Just look it up if you don't know what it does. If you do know what it does, then you understand why I have Detect on it. You'll probably never run into it, but it is a cool little move to take a note of, that Detect does the same thing as Protect, pretty much same exact thing. It's just if you ever run into an imprisoning Pokemon, you're still going to be able to protect yourself and get that speed boost just in case. So keep that in mind. So this set, very good for late game sweeping, doing a big chunk of damage. You could also substitute for Life Orb if you really wanted to take somebody by surprise. You could replace the Life Orb for a Charty Berry, maybe get it on a rock ground type that's going to hit you with something like Rock Slide. Take that with the Charty Berry and then Giga Drain, but I mean, not even sure you'd be able to live the Rock Slide even with the Charty Berry, so I wouldn't even take the chance. Just leave the Life Orb on, use it like it should be used. The second set I have here is Yanmega with a Choice Scarf with Tinted Lens. It's got Bug Buzz, Air Slash, Giga Drain, and U-Turn. This one's running Naive Nature with 4 in attack, 252 in special attack, and 252 in speed. This one's gonna be good for using it as a pivot, a quick pivot. With the Choice Scarf, you're going to be able to outspeed pretty much everything. You got the U-turn just to keep on pivoting, and then once you're in a spot where you think you can actually take out some stuff, you can start using Bug Buzz or Air Slash or Giga Drain. And the Tinted Lens, even if it's not effective, it's going to be doing a little more damage anyways. That's the nice thing about Tinted Lens. So very straightforward Yanmega. That's the thing with Yanmega. It's just such a straightforward Pokemon. It's just a quick special attacker. It's just little tweaks you can make into it to change up what it does. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is Bug Buzz, being Yanmega's pretty much main bug move, goes through substitutes, which is really nice. And now the last thing I have here isn't actually a set at all. It's just showing more coverage Yanmega has. It does get Psychic. it gets Shadow Ball, it gets Ancient Power, it gets Feint. Now, Psychic's really good for any poison Pokemon you might run into that you have no way of hitting with your stab moves that are hitting them that well or take them out. Psychic can do a lot more damage. In certain situations. Shadow Ball, maybe if you run into a ghost, they're another psychic type. You don't have, well, psychic types use Bug Force, so you would need Shadow Ball for that. But if you run into a ghost, I guess. Ancient Power, Ominous Wind, Silver Wind, possibility of 10% to raise all your stats, which is kind of nice, but probably never going to be useful in a Yanmega, seeing how it has no defenses. And Feint is actually kind of cool because if your opponent's using Protect a lot, Feint actually nullifies, protect, detect, all that stuff. So that's kind of cool to have. So not a lot you can do with a Yanmega. Like I said, this is not even a set. This is just extra moves that it has that maybe if you need certain coverage for a certain opponent's team, you have it there. Yanmega, it's so one-dimensional. There's just not much you can do with it. It's one of those Pokemon that if you're bringing it, you have to know exactly what it does, and you have to be able to do that well, and you play its role right, you'll have success with it. If you try to do weird things with it, it just doesn't have the versatility to do those things. So if you try to run a Yanmega and you're trying to make it physical and, you know, do all this fancy stuff with it, you don't have the time to set everything up to do all this fancy stuff with it. It won't live long enough to let you do it. And its stats are just so one-dimensional, where the special attack and speed are so much greater than everything else that it's just not going to do much else. But that is going to be it for Yanmega for this week. I do have next week's votes, next week's straw poll, I should say, ready to go. And here it is for you right here. It is every single Mega Pokemon in Tier 1 that was not drafted this year. We're going to do the Tier 1 Megas that were not drafted for this week's vote, and next week we're going to do the rest of the Megas that weren't drafted for the week after's vote, and so it's going to look a little bit like this. So for this week's vote, we have Mega Charizard X, Mega Charizard Y, Mega Garchomp, Mega Heracross, Mega Gardevoir, Mega Medicham, Mega Sableye, Mega Sceptile, Mega Slowbro, Mega Swampert, and Mega Tyranitar. And then next week we're going to do the rest of the Megas that weren't drafted in the Tier 2, 3, and 4, I think it is. So yeah, those are your options for this week. Make sure you go to the straw poll in the description down below and vote. Make sure to check out all the GBA fan stuff in the description below, as well as like the site, the fan doc, all the coaches and all that. Make sure you check all that out in the description below. Make sure you leave a like on the video, and I will see you guys on next week's mega edition of the Waiver Wire Show.